So I started going to the gym because I wanted to learn self-defense to take care of myself and my daughter. And it just turns out that I really like beating people up.
All right, LDBC. This is your boy Coach Sheldon Harrison. You're live on the Coach Sheldon Harrison Combat Sports Show live. And guys, got another great fighter that's on this show. Definitely got a lot of things going for her. I got Miss Chelsea LaGrasse, correct?
Yes,
Oh,
Chelsea LaGrasse.
oh gosh, I hate mispronouncing names wrong. I thought I
You're
had it right.
close enough.
Chelsea LaGrasse, correct?
Yeah, that's yes.
Okay, all right. It's got to be right. So, Chelsea, I got you here on Saturday. You could be doing anything, such as, I don't know, going out, with your friends or, attending to your daughter, but you chose to sit here with me for about 20 or 30 minutes. I mean, golly, it's a great day today.
Oh yeah, I'm happy to sit here and talk with you.
Well, God
Happy to.
bless you. That's what I'm saying. Chelsea, how did you get started? I mean, just tell us your story.
So I started going to the gym because I wanted to learn self-defense to take care of myself and my daughter. And it just turns out that I really like beating people up, and I'm actually kind of good at it. So I stuck with it and, fell in love with the sport, and I've been doing it for a couple years now.
Okay. All right. So you kind of just had a just a feeling just to go beat up people, and it makes you feel good to beat them up.
Well, it's a good stress relief for me, and I like to exercise. I've always been active, and it's just a new challenge for me. I've never really been involved in sports too much until I started doing jiu-jitsu and kickboxing, and it just escalated from there, and I really fell in love with the competition and being at the gym with people. It's kind of like a family at the gym. So just all of that, I enjoy it.
But Chelsea, hey, doing my research on you, you are a heck of a yoga person. I mean, girl, you're doing handstands, you're doing all these like different kind of stretches. Like, how does that help you in the fight game?
Well, I mean, flexibility is important in any sport that you do. It's an important part of training. And I used to do yoga a lot more before I started fighting and training in, martial arts. I still do it a few times a week to stay loose, and I still enjoy it. It's relaxing. It's therapeutic for me. I've done it for close to 10 years now, so it's a part of my life.
Close to 10 years. Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you definitely got to be one flexible young lady. I can tell you, Well, based on some of the fights that I watched you in, yeah, you got to have a degree of flexibility, especially at what you do. Okay, so let's really get into some of your fights.
Yeah.
You were undefeated as an amateur. Like, I mean, how did that feel being undefeated? Nobody could take you out in the amateur ranks.
It felt really good. Winning 3 fights in a row. Winning felt good. I didn't really know what a loss felt like until, my last fight. So up until that point, I was feeling pretty confident.
Now, I watched your first fight versus I want to pronounce the first name, I forget it, but her last name is Day. You know,
Kate Day.
Katie Day. How could I forget Katie? Wow, I
Yeah.
did. I forgot it. But, I know the last name, and I'm gonna tell you, that was your first fight. Um, what were you thinking when she kept putting you in those clinches?
Um, you know, that was my first fight. So there was a lot of things going through my mind at that point. A lot of nerves happening for that fight, being my first one. So I was just trying to focus on breathing and focus on what I did in training and put those into practice. But, there's a lot of adrenaline going through your body too. So your mind's racing.
It looked like when it first started, I was watching the first round, and I'm like, man, okay, Chelsea, this day girl, she's handling it pretty well. Then you got to the second round, you did this beautiful leg trip. I'm talking about beautiful leg hip toss trip, and then it was beautiful, and it started the whole thing of you winning that fight. I mean, could you kind of take us back through that leg trip?
Yeah, so, after the takedown, it just felt natural. I practiced that a lot, and it just happened. Muscle memory took over, and I started feeling really confident in that fight, and that confidence continued, through the second and the third round. And that's how I won the fight. Was just, kept getting those blows in and felt good.
Now, and one thing I want to point out to people, I can tell that you're a workaholic because I can tell you've been sparring. I can look at your face and tell that you've been sparring, that you've been in fights, and you'd be the type of person that if I had a charge, I'd be worried because I worry about the girl that's scarred up doing training, than the girl that's got a clean face. I'd be worried about people like you. Like, could you tell us, like how hard are these training sessions? Because man.
Well, this is just from my fight Sunday. So it hasn't even been a week since my last fight when I was in Japan.
Hmm.
So that's what this is from, and it's healing up pretty nicely, but it's still got a little ways to go. But I'm always bruised up somewhere on my body, my legs, my arms, my face. It's, that's how training goes.
God almighty. Hey, listen, a lot of respect to you. A lot of respect to you because, man,
Thank
because you could be, you can be, try to be prissy and be like, oh, well, I don't even want to do this interview. I got to wait to this. But you were like, no, let's get this thing done. Let's go.
Well, I've been out and about in public, and I mean, I've gotten some looks, but whatever, I just own it.
That's right. Hey, yeah, forget those people. They don't know a good fighter when they see one.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, when you and I want to talk about that first fight again because that's really where I got to see you as an amateur when you first started, and I can see the flaws, but then I can see like the really great things you did in that third round. Man, you had her in a headlock, and you was doing like some serious grounding pound, and the round was up for grabs. Like, what did you have to do? Like, what were you thinking? Like, I gotta win. Like, what?
Well, I knew I had to win that round if I wanted to win the fight, and I was tired going into that round. But when the round started, I saw that she was tired too, and that just gave me my second wind and the motivation to win that round. And I just pulled through and put all my energy into it, and knew I had to get a takedown. So I got her in the hip toss and got her in a position that I needed her in, and trapped her arm and just went to town, and it felt really good.
I bet you did. I bet you it felt amazing. What did coach say?
Oh, he was happy with it. I didn't realize after the fight that I had won the fight, and they're yelling at me, "Put your hands up! You won that fight! Put your hands up!" And I was like, "Oh, okay, I'll put my hands up." I was just focused on getting my breath back.
So, so that I know that last round took a lot out of you, and I can tell you were winded, because you were just going for it.
Oh
Now,
yeah.
is stamina a big deal for you in fights like that when you have to go that extra mile?
Yeah, I mean, I'm always training to go the distance in the fight. I don't want it to go the distance, but I'm always prepared for that. And I've had to step it up lately, especially with the 5-minute rounds instead of the 3-minute rounds. So cardio has been a big focus of mine lately in my training.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, and I'm gonna tell you what I saw from your first fight to your last fight that I saw, and I'm gonna have to 1,000% agree with you on that because you've been prepared in almost every fight, because it would seem like I'm looking at the fight and I'm like, man, like what is she gonna do? Because these people are standing there out striking her, and then all of a sudden the fight goes to the ground, and then you turn the fight in your favor. Like it's crazy as it sounds, but I was like, wow, y'all can't bet against this girl. Like how many times have you been the underdog in a fight?
Almost always. Being the smaller, shorter opponent, I'm always at a disadvantage and the underdog, but that just fuels my fire.
Hey, y'all, fuse her fire. And she's on fire. And speaking of fire, you know what? I noticed something. Are you a big Dragon Ball Z fan?
No, not really.
Okay, because I saw it, I was doing my research on you, and I saw like you had a very good, like it was a quote. It was sort of like a meme, but it was a quote, and it was using Dragon Ball Z characters. I said, okay, maybe she's into the, powers and all that stuff.
I probably just like the quote.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, okay, so now let's talk about, and I think this is going to be a trilogy one day, okay? I believe it's going to be a trilogy. The fight that you just fought, well, first of all, okay, you fought this woman in the amateurs. You fought
Yeah.
Sinju Auclair, correct?
Purdue, Claire, yes.
Sinju Auclair. Man, that was a hard one to pronounce, but we got it. You fought her in the amateurs and you won. But and I was watching the fight and I'm like, whoa, okay. You know, you both of you guys were putting in some good work. I had to fight almost even, before they stopped the fight.
Right.
Like what happened? Like why they stopping the fight?
So Shinju trains in Michigan. Well, she was training in Michigan at that time, and Michigan has different rules for their fights than Ohio does. And in Ohio, as an amateur, you're not allowed to throw head kicks. And so Shinju didn't know that, and she threw around 4 head kicks, if I remember correctly. And so she got disqualified because of that, and they didn't let the fight continue.
Now, were you kind of disheartened a little bit because you actually wanted to finish the fight, or were you like, okay, it doesn't matter?
I was definitely disappointed. I didn't want to win the fight that way. So, I was disappointed that the rules weren't being followed. I was disappointed that the fight was, ended that way. I was just not happy all around.
Yeah, because it was kind of hard. It was kind of hard to hear on the particular. And I kept trying to turn the sound up, and then when
Yeah,
I looked, I'm like, oh, okay. Well, she got disqualified. So what happened? Because then, like, and then she caught you with a shot. She caught you with one, and
right.
you were kind of visibly a little bit upset about it, and it's like, oh man, the fight stopped. But you were actually starting to get in some pretty good work in that fight, and I was like, oh, okay. So,
Yeah.
you're making it go. Um, do you see that as being a trilogy?
I don't know about that. I would entertain it maybe if they came to me with that idea, but I'm not gonna actively pursue it or anything.
Well, I mean, it wasn't like you were just blown out in that fight, though. That's what you're not
I
understanding.
know, I know, I know. I mean, it was a close fight. Shinju did awesome. She toughed it out, and we had fun in there. And I would love to rematch her again someday, maybe. But she definitely deserved the win in that fight. So
Well, now listen. Now I'm gonna tell you when I watched the fight, I definitely saw a lot of things that was different from your amateur fight. Like the first one you had when you got to that fight. I mean, you definitely you had a lot of control in the fight, and you actually took her down. You took her down one time, and you were trying to apply an armbar. You were trying to, and it looked good. I mean, you were snapping it on, and it's just I think she was so rangy that she was just able to just get out of it. But man, you,
right,
you, you actually did, and then you set your takedown up with a pretty decent jab, in my opinion. Which I didn't see that before when you were fighting in the amateurs. You were actually using a nice decent jab to get the takedown. So I was like, yeah, you're starting to evolve. Like you're getting better as the fights go on. Like,
yeah.
can you just take us back through that? Because I actually like to pinpoint what people do right versus okay, well you lost the fight, but man, there's a lot of great things you did in that fight. Maybe you can
Well,
point some out.
I appreciate you saying that, definitely. I knew, I fought her once before, so I had a little better idea what to expect. And I tried to go into it a little bit more strategically because, she's so much taller than me, so I have to account for that. And so I knew going in there, I didn't want to give her any room to just lay kicks and punches on me from the outside. I knew I had to get inside and get in there quick if I wanted to do any damage or have any chance. So I knew going from the gate that that's what I was going to do initially in that fight, and I followed through with that, and I felt pretty good about it.
Yeah, I mean, I have to agree. You kind of you did some better things, like and you didn't make yourself such an easy target this time either. You were actually making it difficult for her, and she was having a tough time. Trying to submit you. Trying to get your body contorted in these different directions. And I think because of your training with the yoga, that's why I was asking about it. She could have done a whole lot more damage. Than what she set out to do. But man, it was a good fight. I wish I could have saw it go to distance because I think you could have snuck out a win. I honestly believe that, not because I'm interviewing, but just from what I was seeing, I think you could have snuck the win.
Yeah. Yeah, I think if it had gone further, it would have gone back and forth like that. Um, it would have been a lot of fun if we had continued it, but yeah, at first the armbar didn't really hurt. I didn't feel like I was in danger, and I was trying to get up, and her legs kept me from getting up, and she twisted it some weird way, and I wasn't about to let my arm break, so that was the end of that.
Well, you know what? And I'm glad you said that. This is very important, especially for young fighters, because you have a lot of younger fighters. They'll just try to fight through it,
Right.
and but you said something. You're going to live on to enjoy the longevity of the career that you're trying to build.
Oh yeah,
So,
definitely.
I mean, could you kind of explain to even younger fighters that's trying to do what you're doing, the importance of actually being smart?
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to ruin your body or yourself, just to win one fight. If I break my arm, that's going to put me out for several months out of training, and then, it's just not worth it. It's not worth it at all. It's one thing to not tap from a choke and to go to sleep. It's another to not tap from an arm bar or some sort of arm lock, something like that, or leg lock.
Fire, straight fire. And there you have it, guys. You're talking to a professional. She's telling you it's not always glory to try to hang in there. Sometimes it's okay to tap, it's okay.
Yeah, it is. It's okay.
See? And she's telling you it is, so listen to her, okay? She's going to tell you the truth. Now, you got to tell me about the Rizin experience, like just being there, at the venue. Like, how were they treating you guys?
Oh, Rizin is amazing. I mean, they treated us so good. I have no complaints about Rizin at all. It was an awesome experience. Everything was smooth and organized and professional. Everyone was friendly and welcoming. I can't say enough good things about them.
Wow. So they treated you like a queen at Rizin.
I mean, I went from, just amateur fights here in Ohio to a professional fight in Tokyo. It was a big change for me, and, I definitely enjoyed it, and I am happy with the experience.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you're happy with it because it was a lot going on. It
Oh,
was a
yeah,
it was a lot going on over
it
there.
definitely was.
Yeah, with the whole Garcia missing the weight and that whole fiasco, I was scared that was going to take away from, a lot of you other guys that are legitimate fighters. Well, they're all legitimate, but I thought that fiasco was going to take away from what you guys are trying to do, and you guys are trying to solidify things for yourselves. Rising is definitely a good place to get a great win, so. But I'm glad because the fights, you go watch them online, man, they got a lot of views, and people are watching your fight and all the fights.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Rizin is, it's a huge company, and it's growing every year. So, it's definitely gets your name out there for sure. I'm happy to have the opportunity.
Okay, well, yeah, it was a great opportunity. Now, there's a gentleman I do want to mention in this interview, a gentleman named Gary Brown, and he's actually the one that introduced me to you, so I can do this interview with you.
Yeah,
Now, what kind of plans? I guess he's helping you as well, correct?
yeah. He's helping me with sponsorships and future fights, different things like that.
So maybe if I look down the road, say 2 or 3 years from now, what vision do you and Gary have? As far as you're concerned, what organization you fight with, etc.
I'm kind of open to opportunities. I don't have a specific expectation going into this. I want to keep fighting. I want to continue to get better in my skills, and whatever opportunity that comes my way that I think will be beneficial for me in the long run, then I'm gonna take it. I'm not gonna take something that I don't feel is gonna be beneficial for me just to fight. So, and I definitely want to take a little bit of time off to work on my skills and to get better, because I always like to improve before I fight again. So I just try to take it one fight at a time. But I love you too.
She need to come in and say hey to the camera. That's awesome.
I love you. So yeah, Gary is just there because I don't have as much time, and I don't have all the connections that he does to propel myself a little bit quicker than I can on my own. So, and he's doing a great job.
Okay. Yeah, I think he's definitely got some plans for you. Seems to be a sharp individual, and he's definitely going to take you there. So I told him, I said, man, you might be the Al Heyman of women's MMA, dude. I mean, I think he's got a formula, he works well.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, so with that being said, what weight class are you most comfortable at?
So all my fights have been at the 125-pound weight class, but I weighed in at 114 for my last fight, so I could fight at 115 pounds. I just haven't yet, but I'm open to those fights as well.
I was going to ask that because, and this is not taking anything away from your opponents because they did a good job, and it's not taking away anything from All Claire, but I felt like you were at a disadvantage size-wise because I was looking, I'm like, man, this girl's a bit bigger, in my opinion, just me looking at the fight as an observer, breaking the fight down, I'm like, wow.
Right.
I felt like you were undersized, and not saying that you didn't do a good job. You did a tremendous job, but to me against a bigger woman, I mean, I don't know. How do you think fighting that strawweight would do? Because man, I was thinking that you were reading my mind. I was like, strawweight.
Yeah, I was definitely lighter and shorter than her, which it's a disadvantage. But and that's not to take away from Shinju at all. So that's why I've considered going down to 115 pounds because I feel like I would have a better chance at that weight, and it would just make more sense for me.
Please do, because I'm telling you, I think you'll go there and you'll beast it out. And I'm talking about just going there and just do a bang-up job because you're getting better every fight. That's why when watching your first fight to your last fight, I'm like, wow, man, this young lady, she's evolving like crazy. And you're getting better and better, and even little small nuances such as head movement that I didn't notice in the first fight, that you're starting to employ a little bit more head movement. I'm like, wow, maybe in 3 years, man, she's gonna be like one of the best, or on top of the game. It's coming,
Mama! Hold on, Jasmine. Hold on.
Hello, Jasmine. Hey, you're live on Coach Shelton Harrison Combat Sports Show live. Uh-oh. How you doing, kid?
Good.
I got some advice for you.
What?
Stay in school.
What?
That's right. Stay in school.
What do you?
That's a good idea. All right, go on. Go find the doggy, okay? Go find the doggy, all right?
Hey, love kids. I love children, so you gotta forgive me. And, and speaking of your daughter, you know what? I saw a video you were hitting a heavy bag, and your daughter was giving some great commentary. Can you explain that?
She likes to take my phone and videotape stuff while I'm training. She's always at the gym with me when I'm training, so she gets bored. And, she just started, talking about what I was doing and then singing a song and, just doing her own thing.
Yeah, you know what? I think she got a future as a commentator. You know what? Now, does she ever go to your fights, or do you leave her at home?
She's never been to any of my fights, but she always comes to practice.
See, what you ought to do, you ought to get a fight where you do, like, extremely good at, like maybe your first fight, have your daughter commentate. Man, I bet that'd be awesome. I bet she would call a fight better than the announcers did, I'm pretty sure she could.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, see?
I remember that fight.
I'm giving you some ideas here, see? And it's going to help. I'm just playing. So, now let's talk about Coach. I had a couple more questions, and then we'll play a quick little game to kind of end it off. Something you couldn't have studied for even if I told you to. Let's talk about Coach for a minute, okay?
All right.
Tell me about the significance of Coach and what is he doing, plus, his name and everything.
Well, I have a few different people that help me and have coached me. My main coach, his name is Vince Herman, but he is deployed in Afghanistan right now, so he's not really able to help me right now while he's gone. He'll be back in April. So other people from the gym are helping me. My coach, Daryl, is the one that came with me to Japan to corner me for that fight. He's been helping train me for this fight specifically. We have several other people that have put time into training me.
Wow. And the people at home, you guys don't know that it's a lot. It's a lot of work to get somebody in MMA because it's not just boxing, where some people see. I come from a boxing background, so that was my discipline. But
yeah.
Man, you got ground, BJJ, submission defense,
yeah,
sparring. Just all kind of stuff. So
yeah, it's a lot of work, definitely.
Yeah, but a lot of work. You came in, you're physically okay. We're doing this interview, and your next fight. Who do you think you're going to fight next? If it's anybody that your heart can say, I want to fight this person.
Well, I don't really try to plan out who my next opponent's going to be. I don't really have anyone specific that I would want to fight. all the girls that I have met, I've trained with, and I wouldn't even want to fight them. So, it's hard to say, but I'm open to whoever they want to send my way.
And now now if they give you a decent enough contract and they say, hey, fight that girl over there you train with. I mean, I don't know. I mean, would you be like, yeah, come on, let's do this, girl, let's go.
Well, it depends, I guess. It depends on what you say too.
Okay. See. Okay. So you kind of one of those passive aggressive people. You're very passive, but then when it's time to get in there, boy, they're gonna get a headlock and they're gonna get grounded and pounded to death. Man, I like it.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm in there fighting with them, then it doesn't matter who it is. I gotta go for the win.
Okay. Well, this is good. Okay, the last segment of this interview, it's a test that you can't even study for. You can't.
Oh no.
It's impossible. All right. Do you keep up with combat sports yourself, even though you fight?
I gotta be honest with you, I don't.
God, that's terrible. That's just terrible.
But I will now.
Really? Okay.
Yes.
So you don't keep up with boxing, you don't keep up with men's MMA?
Well, I keep up with, the female combat sports. I follow the guys a little bit, females more than the males. I like to watch some of the fighters that are close to my size, similar in size to me and weight. Jessica Andrade, I really like her style of fighting. And Tisha Torres, the Tiny Tornado, I like to watch her too. She's close to my height, and she's just a little fireball. So I like to watch boxing a little bit, but I don't keep up with it too much.
Okay. I'm not going to ask you anything about boxing then. That's going to be a bit unfair. Okay, I ain't going to do that to you. But I am going to ask you about women's MMA.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll go to the strawweight division. Hey, you still there?
Oh, I'm sorry. You're freezing up a little bit.
Yeah, you froze up. Now you back to normal. There you go. See? That's that magic. I think your daughter snapped her fingers and brought you back. Good job. Okay.
Probably.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you about a fighter. Okay?
Okay.
And I'm going to ask you a specific question about him, and you just got to answer it. Now, if you get it wrong, there's going to be a big old X mark all across your face on the screen.
Oh, okay.
Nobody likes the X mark, but okay. This is my first time It's my first time doing the women's MMA questions, but here we go. Okay. All right. Okay, where is Joanna Jędrzejczyk from?
She's from, I think she's from Russia.
Oh, dear God.
Russia or Poland?
Which one?
I'm gonna go with Poland.
Okay, you got it right. God, you avoided that X mark. Good job. All right.
Oh, yeah.
All right, I'm gonna ask you three more because I want you to get a perfect score. Okay, you know who Alexa Grasso is? Okay, now let's try another one. Okay, where's Jessica Andrade from?
She's from Brazil.
Hey man, good job. Way to go. Okay, all right. Where is Karolina Kowalkiewicz from?
Oh, that's a tough one. I'm gonna get this one wrong, I know. Oh, I don't know. I'm gonna just say Russia.
Oh, no, she's from Poland. Oh, how did you? Oh no, you missed that one. I can't believe it. Oh no, gosh, that's terrible. That's just terrible. Okay.
I'm sorry, I apologize.
It's okay. All right, I got one. The last question I'm gonna ask you.
All right.
Where's Holly Holm from?
She's from America.
Way to go. Holly Holm is from America, trains at Jackson Wink MMA. Awesome.
Yeah, sure.
Well, young lady, is there anybody that you want to thank? You want to give anybody a shout out?
Yeah, I want to thank all of the people that, have helped train me up to this point, and everybody that's had a hand in helping me, and everyone that's supported me for this, my family, my daughter, my clients, and, anyone, all my friends, anyone that's in my life that supports me in this, and, Gary for getting me this interview and all the help that he has given to me. There's a lot of people to thank and be thankful for this. They've got me here.
Now, this interview. Now, hold on. Now, it's not a singular thing. Now, I mean, I know you're gonna come back again, correct? On the live stream. Okay, because you're gonna gain a few new fans off this, and they're gonna want to talk to you live.
Yeah, definitely. I'll for sure come back.
Okay, because you signed a big deal, a big contract, and then I'm like, hey, Chelsea, what's going on, girl? Let's talk. Let's talk about that victory that you just had. See, I'm already speaking it into existence for you. That's what I'm doing.
I appreciate that.
Well, Chelsea, I definitely appreciate you coming on. Definitely appreciate you, being a good sport about the game, and I'll make the X small. Okay, I'll make it very, very small. People won't even. They'll barely be able to see it. Okay. I'm just
all right. Thank you for taking the time to talk to me.
No, thank you. You're a busy young lady. You got stuff to do, guys. On behalf of Chelsea LaGrasse, correct?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
I'm finally right.
Guys, listening.
God bless you. I got it. Yes, thank you. Thank you for letting me get it. I finally got it right, guys. We're leaving. We're out. And Chelsea, could you take everybody out and say, hey, this is Chelsea LaGrasse. You're watching Coach Shelton Harrison.
Hey guys, this is Chelsea LaGrasse. This is Coach Shelton Harrison.
God, you got it right the first time. Amen.